Good evening, all. Welcome to the Committee on Finance regular meeting. It is Tuesday, February 17, 2026 at 5:32 p.m. Madam Clerk, will you kindly call the roll?
Chairwoman Ryan.
Present.
Vice Chairman Taylor.
Here.
Councilor Angelbach. Here. Councilwoman Graves is absent. Councilor Sanchez.
Here.
We have 4 present and 1 absent. We have a quorum.
Thank you very much. Let the record reflect that we are joined this evening by the Council President, Rachel Miller, and Council colleague, Jill Davidson.
So noted.
And we are staffed by the wonderful Etty Solicitor Schwab. So we're all set. We've got a full house on. Okay, please read the first item into the record.
Resolution authorizing the sale of city-owned parcels east of Messick.
Okay, who do we have to testify? Please swear everyone in.
Please raise your right hands. Do you swear under penalty of perjury that the testimony you're about to give is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your names for the record.
Courtney Hawkins, Chief Operating Officer.
Nicholas Ciccatelli, Director of Real Estate.
John Arsenini, Director of Public Property.
Wonderful. And they provided a proposal to this package. I'd like to make a motion or accept a motion to enter this exhibit into the record, Exhibit 1A, we will call it. Motion made by Councilwoman Angelou, seconded by Councilman Taylor. All in favor, aye. Any opposed? Ayes have it. Motion carries. We have an exhibit entered. Okay. Please take it away. Chief.
Thanks, Chairwoman. So we're here tonight on 2 purchasing matters, both happen to be city property. I just want to take a minute to thank Nick Chickentally, our Director of Real Estate. I think our administration has moved more city property to market than maybe any in history, and it's a lot of work. So thank you, Nick. The 2, for both of these properties that are before you today, they both went through the Board of Contract and Supply, which approved the RFPs that were.
Excuse me, Chief, do you intend to talk about these 2 together?
I'm not, I'm just going to give the
all right,
overview.
that's
and then
fine.
we'll do
I
one
was
at a
just
time.
going to change the motion if that was your desire. That's okay.
So they went through Board of Contract and Supply for approval of the RFP, and then were opened in that same meeting with the responsive bidders. So as it relates to Messer Street properties, it's actually a bundle of properties that was put out together. Just for a general background, the city charter is very specific as it relates to the sale of properties, which is why sometimes we transfer properties to the PRA because the redevelopment authority has a little bit more flexibility. But as it relates to a property going from the city, we cannot take less than 90% of the appraised value. And then we have to take the highest responsible bidder. And the RFP lays out what a responsible bidder is. So in the case of this property, the proposal before you is that it is the highest responsible bidder, valued at $1.5 million in the bid. It provides for approximately 50 units of new housing, 20 units offered at 80% AMI, and then, makes some commitments to pursuing additional affordability based on availability of subsidy through Rhode Island Housing. Nick, anything you would add to that?
We did 3 bids, selected the highest bidder. Each of the bidders have affordable housing to it. And they were all being responsive, so we wanted to consider to the section 416 of the charter, which governs that no less than 90% of the appraised value and to the highest bidder.
Okay, anyone else? Mr. Lucy, you want to say anything?
No, I'm good.
You're good? Okay. Does anyone want to talk just briefly about the proposal, what the plan is?
Yes, so the proposal has the historic school on it from 1876, I believe. So that's a historic renovation. It could be a tax credit project or an historic tax credit project. And they're going to put mixed housing, so renovating that full building, and then with the remaining lots, reserving some for open space and for parking, they're going to put new construction housing on the remaining lots. So there should be a vibrant addition to the street that's been underinvested in for quite some time, and it will do justice with the construction next to the historic renovation.
Wonderful. There's clearly benefits to the community that are expressed in this proposal. Does anyone want to get that on the record, or are you good with that presentation as is? Okay, okay. Committee members, any questions, concerns? Councilwoman Angelo,
Thank you. So can I ask 3 questions?
you can ask 3 questions.
Thank you.
Just 3, no.
Cut me off. Just about process. So one is you said for all that are deemed responsive, how do you determine what's deemed responsive?
So the criteria is laid out in the RFP. So there is really 2 things happening. One, the criteria in the RFP, which determines responsive bidders, so long as, you know, they fit the legal requirements of the charter. And then should they be all responsive, then you go to the highest bidder as is required by the charter. So were they to not follow the slightly different specifications for each of the properties you've waited tonight, but should they not have met the minimum threshold, then they would not have been determined to then go to the price consideration.
Okay, so they just have to meet a minimum threshold. It doesn't matter like who has a higher score or lower score. It's like, I mean, this one is a little irrelevant because you bid so much higher than the next person, so it's like not, yeah, but.
That's correct.
Okay. And then my other question is, why, and this is just a question, why are we selling these directly instead of going through the PRA?
That's a good question. There's 2 reasons. So for the Master Street School, it was deemed to have negative value or 0 market value. So that rule that would have run away at 90% of appraised value, it doesn't exist on this property. Otherwise, we would easily put it on to the PRA, but you know, we're supposed to come to the council to do that anyway, so it wasn't really saving us any time with that. And then with the second Humboldt Ave, that in that part of town is located outside of the redevelopment area, which makes the process a lot trickier than it would be if it was in one of the 4 areas.
And then my third question, which you touched on a minute, what was the appraised value and then who did the appraisal for this property?
I'd like to, I think it was 150,000.
For all the properties together is 180,000. So
Including like the land and
Nick
everything?
mentioned the building had negative value.
Oh,
When you had the land together, it was 180,000, and that was done by Peter Scott.
Okay. Yeah, the building's in Russia, so.
We've been trying to get people interested in this building.
Okay, those were my questions at this one. Thank you.
You good?
Yeah.
Anyone else?
real
Councilman
quickly.
Taylor, yes.
Real quickly, since it's in my ward, thank you for selling it. It was really a blight, and they, thank you for fencing it in beforehand to get those people sleeping there and graffiti and trash and
It's
it
been
was
a
a mess.
mess.
And, I know I met Eric out there and I was very happy with, the stuff that he plans on doing over there. It'll be a lot better than what's there. And thank you guys for doing everything to get rid of that.
Yeah, thank you for highlighting.
You surprised me it was worth 180 grand because I was.
The land.
Because it was terrible, but thank you very much for all the work to get that done. And I thank Eric, if you're listening out there, for jumping into this project and looking after doing some stuff for Woody to make it great.
People don't realize that John and Nick and the team, like, we have to spend money on taking care of these properties also. This is an example of one where we're like fencing and re-fencing and cleaning, and sometimes there are other issues. So it also helps the city be able to invest our money not in things that aren't adding value to the city more broadly, to be able to put them in somebody else's hands to make good use of them.
So that's a good story to tell also. We have out-of-state investors putting investment in a traditionally underinvested community, and we get on the tax roll. There's a lot of good parts of the story.
Wonderful. Council President, do you have any comments or thoughts on this?
1.5 comments. So one, it's right on the edge, as you know, of Ward 8 and Ward 13. Could not agree with Councilman Taylor more. It has been a blight and a hazard, and excited that it will have a future. There are some neighbors who want to just have an overview and discussion on the historical, particularly, and I've heard historical preservation and affordability. I have not been able to make that happen because of my own health issues, but I'm going to move that forward, and I'm just really excited to see a future for this building. So.
And the bidder, in being responsive, did commit to achieving historical standards as it relates to part of the process, because we move with those.
You're good?
I'm good.
Great, I'm also glad you're that into the table, because I know you have been ill.
I'm much better. Thank you very much.
I would just like to echo my colleagues' comments on the property itself. It is just so good to see this moving and the plan is exceptional and it's a great piece of property. And I looked at the proposal and I'm a big fan of everything that Eric has proposed, and he certainly is a great developer to take on this project. He has a strong track record, and I'm just excited to see it move on. With that, do I have a motion?
Make a motion to approve number 1.
Motion to approve number 1 by Councilman Taylor, seconded by Councilwoman Endebar. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries, the matter passes. This will go to the full council. Okay, thank you. All right, next, Madam Clerk, would you kindly read item 2 into the record?
Resolution authorizing approval of the following contract award by the Board of Contract and Supply in accordance with section 416, sections 3 and 5 of the Providence Home Rule Charter of 1980 as amended. Richard Gavarich, Mark Albert, Providence Redevelopment Agency, $1,150,000.
Okay, I'm assuming from the administration, we've got the same presenters?
Yes.
We've already been sworn in. Chief, please tell us about this one.
So as Nick mentioned, this property is not in a redevelopment area, so we had to put it out through the board. There was an RFP that was released, and we have, as Councilwoman Enderbois asked, the bidders were evaluated to be responsive or responsible. They then went to the pricing and we're recommending the highest bidder, which is $1.150 million. The proposal is for 3 units of residential, a conversion to 3 units of residential with a garage, as a, secondary use to the property. There is a commitment to a historic renovation. There's also a commitment to increased green space. One thing we didn't talk about on the previous one is that this will just allow us to move forward to an execution of a purchase and sale agreement. If for some reason in that process it becomes clear that the proposer is not going to either meet the standards that were laid out in the proposal or comply with other kind of zoning standards for the area, we would not execute a purchase and sale and we would go to the next bidder. So this allows us to just move forward with that process.
Do you want to ask a question? Do you want to?
I don't know if you want to go.
Nick was continuing.
Okay, yeah, let's go.
Please, Nick.
Yeah, I just want to talk a little bit about the process on this too. We had 2 open houses. We had more than 60 people show interest in this, and we got 6 bids. Each of them were deemed minimum threshold, so then it becomes about price again. On that note, there's of the 6, it's only positions 1 and 2 that were qualified for 90% rule. The other 4, although they were good proposals, did not meet the price consideration. Yeah.
Okay. John, you're okay? I'm sitting back in the corner.
Yeah, he's really back.
We like when you.
He's really into back there.
He's been wheeling down there. Oh, because Rachel's sick, that's it, that explains it all. Councilman Taylor, you had a question?
Yes, so obviously this is going on the tax rolls now, correct?
That's what
It's been off since it's been a fire station. How much of the tax is gonna be?
it's gonna be,
Roughly.
well, it's currently valued at $925,000, but then once that renovation project is completed, it'll be a lot more valuable. So I don't want to misspeak, but
So we'll be making money finally.
it's gonna be a productive.
Well, 2 things actually. We make money in HMS too.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's right. In addition to the taxation, we didn't talk about the funding that comes through these projects because we haven't done a lot of them. There's a separate fund that the city keeps like use of these funds will have to go back to the council. They're generally restricted for capital investments, so it could be a housing trust investment, it could be some other kind of infrastructure that we jointly decide we want, but that's where this funding goes into, it doesn't go into the general fund.
So that was gonna be my second question. As a retired fireman who worked in that station many years ago, would that money can it be put aside for like future fire station repairs since it came from a fire station?
That could be something that's contemplated. It would have to be a joint initiative between the council and the administration.
Okay. Alright. And I guess my third question.
No, please continue.
I know I read in here something about custom cars or something on the down floor. Is it gonna be like an open car show type of thing that people could go in there and see or not?
No, that would have to be,
It's gotta be.
this property cannot be used for commercial use like this. It's just an accessory use to the 3 units.
Okay, alright.
So it's just having a garage associated with
But to
it.
be through the window.
And they'll have to conform to
No.
certain,
don't say that.
they'll have to conform to certain zoning requirements as it relates to all of those restrictions.
Okay, that's it, I'm done.
Anyone else?
Any
Committee
questions?
members?
I don't know, Council.
We'll go committee first.
Okay.
Thank you, Councilman Andrew.
Thank you. Some of these, I don't want to steal your thunder, but I'm gonna ask a few questions, so that's okay. Because I've heard, and the process is helpful, because as we've seen here in our testimony, I've personally received a lot of notes from my constituents with concerns about this and a lot of support for the second bidder. So this is coming in light of those questions and just better understanding the process. So, it sounds like, okay, you answered what I did there. For the responsive bids, there was a commitment to the historic quality of the area. After the building is sold, what recourse do we have to hold them to that if we don't own the building anymore?
Yeah, so this comes up a lot, actually. There's gonna be in that legal purchase and sales agreement, right to reverter, which will then get recorded on the record. So should they not perform the right of bargain, we can take the property back. That might get a little tricky if money's already spent, but we'll cross that bridge another day.
Okay, but we would be monitoring it to make sure that they're keeping in line with.
Yeah, this is just like the start of the process. Now that they're gonna go through the permitting process, land use team, I mean, this allows us to move forward. And in fairness, I don't expect anybody to start paying for expensive consultants or filters for the team or even legal team until we get to this level of process through the council.
Well, thank you guys.
Please.
Thank you. Another question I had was, could you share more information about the proposed units? Because it looked like there was a bunch of information about the car garage, but and then there's 3 units, and I just it didn't seem like there was a lot of information about how big the units were. It just felt a little light, and maybe I just didn't see it. I went through what we had, but could you share more information about what those units are,
There are 3 units, 2 on the second floor, 1 on the ground floor. Each unit will be between 1,500 and 2,500 square feet, each with a dedicated entrance.
and that fits in that footprint?
You could put, what control what you can put there is really, comes down to zoning and how many, units you can go there. It's a function of, how many cars you can fit outside. This is the new adaptive reuse from the state. So by right, by zoning, you can put 3 plus in auxiliary unit, but really it's even more than that, so it's, as you adapt that building use. So I'm gonna follow the parking zoning related things.
Okay, so it physically is possible to fit the number that they're talking about, also the size garage that they're talking about.
It's possible from a zoning perspective. Part of this process is not to, nobody's proposal was evaluated to say can you build the things that you're saying?
Yeah.
From a, beyond the zoning perspective, that's not required, but this is allowed. It's allowed, and it is, evaluated that it could happen within the footprint.
Okay, but if as you move forward with the purchase and sale, if they change it, because my concern, just to be frank, is obviously we all want to build more housing, so we're gonna be oh, housing, that's great. But then if they're oh, actually it didn't fit, we're only gonna do 1 unit in a huge garage, that's different than what I think we'd be approving, so is that?
To be clear, it's, if they did 1 unit and we're the highest bidder.
Yeah.
They might still win, right? What they couldn't do is 1 unit with a giant garage, because that's not allowed from a zoning perspective.
Okay. And then for the question on the highest bidder, so even if another proposal was
Yeah.
higher ranked, which it was, like scoring wise, which it was. Because they both met a minimum threshold, then it only moves to highest bid.
That's right.
That charter, okay. And I guess I'm a little bit looking at Eddie about that. That's like the charter, we have to meet the highest.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
And the RFP was approved by Board and Contractors and Supply, which a lot of people don't pay attention to that, but like, that is also a governing body.
Yeah.
With council representation saying, we agree that this is how the RFP should be constructed. So if somebody didn't, want that at that time, they could have thrown it out at that moment.
Yeah. I think you answered my other questions.
Thank you very much. Any other committee members? You good? Councilwoman Davidson, do you have a question?
Yeah, I do. Thank you, Madam Chairman, for allowing me a little time to offer some thoughts. And I really want to thank the chief and the director for sort of helping shed more light on the process. As I'm catching up quick, but I was, late to the party on this one. And to that point, the city, and because circumstantially, because Councilwoman Anthony stepped down on August 1st, and I was not sworn in until December 17th, the entire RFP process happened within that period. So there was not the opportunity for anybody in Ward 2, and this property is in Ward 2, to weigh in at all. So I just want to note that, and what I want to do is use a little bit of time to share what I would have shared had I had the opportunity at the time. I think that what might have informed the RFP, just as you pointed out, and I certainly would have attended that meeting just as another council person sitting in, might have informed the best use for 155 Humboldt. And I wanted to make a couple notes about the Montessori Children's House itself, just so we can have full information when making this decision. And I realize the decision we're making is not, if not one, then two. But I just want people to have full information so you can, sort of be thoughtful about the process. Montessori Children's House is celebrating its 50th anniversary. It's been in Ward 2 the whole time, currently located on Lloyd Avenue, and it's educated more than 3,000 kids from toddler to 6th grade. Right now, they're looking for a property and have been looking for a long time in the neighborhood to be able to expand their toddler program. That's a piece of early childhood education that we're really missing in this city. A lot of kids go from the Montessori system to public school, to other schools, but there just aren't enough toddler, young, early childhood education spots at all. So, I think that one of the desired uses for this project was to be able to expand that. And that really is a top priority, not only for the school, but for the city of Providence. We know it's a real need. The school, as I mentioned, the school's been working for years to find a suitable location near its current space on Lloyd Avenue, and it's going to continue to use that space. So instead of moving somewhere else in the city isn't really feasible. And one thing about their proposal that I do really appreciate is that it would provide, they're willing to provide public access to that space and non-school hours for a gathering space. And, the Ward 2 is a wonderful place. We don't have, we only have one public school. We don't have any community centers. We don't have a public library. We have sort of an unusual lack of places for people to gather. I find that when I'm trying to do a community meeting, I've got nowhere to go if Hope is busy. So it's a real issue, and it would be nice to be able to have that. We already noted the difference, the price difference. Montessori bid $1,100,000. The other bidders bid $1,150,000. So fairly negligible difference to the city in terms of money and being able to use it once that money comes in. And, the last piece I want to speak to is around community support. Over the past couple of months, many of you have received emails from constituents and supporters of the school, asking for, consideration of the school's use of that space. As well, there's a robust petition with 312 signatures that have been gathered supporting that use. So there is real community demand. And sort of to go back to the beginning, had either Counselor Anthony or I had the opportunity to be part of this process, we definitely would have spoken to that, and that might have shaped up the RFP and the ways in which, it was used and sort of what the outcome might have been. So I'll just, conclude that, the Montessori Children's House, has a real commitment to providing affordable, childcare for lots of young people in Providence. It's about the third of cost of other neighborhood preschools. It's less than many other daycares and would fill a real need. Half of the families are on financial aid as well. So, I want to share all of this because I think it's important to consider as we look at sort of what the process has been and what got us here. I think some of that information really didn't inform the beginning of the process, and there might have just been a fluke of timing. I don't think there was anything ill-intended about it at all, but I do think it's important to note. So
Well, thank you very much for providing that testimony. May I ask the solicitor, can you please provide guidance? Is the RFP that was issued comport with the charter requirements?
Yes,
Are you satisfied with the way it was carried out?
yes, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right. Do you have any further testimony, you guys? No? Councilman?
I would just like to add that I know the charter reads that you have to go by the high bidder. And unfortunately for the Montessori school, they weren't the high bidder. But I think I've been around the city a long time, as well as other council members. And I think if we didn't go with the high bidder, we would take a hit. Like, let's just say Joanne Ryan's husband was the second bidder.
Please leave my husband out.
No, my son was a high bidder. And we went with it, I'm not high bidder, but the second bidder. Then it looks like we're doing favoritism. I mean, I don't want to use, there's some names on here I could use, I don't want to use those. But in the past, that's what we only have is the charter to say, listen, it's the high bidder. Whether it's $1, 50,000, 50 cents, it's the high bidder. So for us to, and I feel bad for the Montessori school, and I agree with everything you're saying, but unfortunately our hands are tied unless we change the charter to say something. We had time to change the charter, and we didn't do that because there was other issues that we had to do. But unless we change the charter, unfortunately, as a council, our hands are tied. And I just want to echo this to Montessori because I'm not going to make any friends by voting this, but it's unfortunate that we have to do it this way. But we have to be fair, because if we go to, like I said, the second or third, if it's a name we all knew, if it's Vincent Cianci's grandson, and we gave for that.
Yeah.
Oh, look what the council's doing, they're doing favor to, like, you know what I mean? So we're between a rock and a hard place, and agree with that? I don't know. So I just wanted to put it out there that it's unfortunate. It is going on the tax rolls, that's a good thing. Both that and the school going back on the tax rolls, so that's a very good thing.
Yes.
So, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Thank you, Councilman. I see, Councilman Sanchez, did you have a
Yes, I have a question, Chairwoman.
yes?
I guess this is for the city solicitor. So what happens if the city council doesn't approve this? Legally speaking, it goes back to board of contracts applying for a new RFP, or what's the?
So it could, but it would leave the city in a position where it is acting against its own charter, and that can leave the city particularly vulnerable. I don't want to go, I just don't want to go into the specifics because I'm not a fan of explaining the strongest arguments to somebody who's trying to sue the city out loud.
I think the strongest testimony is what's before us is we've gone through all the hoops and hurdles that comports with the charter that we're obliged to, as you aptly stated, follow. So whether we like it or not, that's what it is. I thank you again for your testimony. I can assure you that even when a council person is missing, the rest of the council usually stands up to try to help out in that area. So I think we did the best we could, and I think what we have before us is a solid proposal. May I have a motion at this point?
Make a motion to approve number 2.
Motion made to approve by Councilman Taylor, seconded by?
I can second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Andujar. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Ayes have it, motion carries. The matter passes. This will appear before the full council. I thank you very much for all your work. That is all we have on our agenda. May I have a motion to adjourn? Councilman Taylor, seconded by Councilman Ansel. All in favor, aye. Any opposed, ayes have it. Motion carried. We're adjourned.
Thank you.